Okay, welcome to everybody. Welcome inside the class. And my name is Philen Mitiga, and I am your LO teacher for the duration of the lockdown. So can I please check whether you guys can hear me or not? Can you guys hear me? I just want an indication of whether you can hear me or not. I hope you can hear me, but my name is Philen Mitiga. Let's go to, all right, thank you, Will. All right, let's go to the first slide that has my name on it, just so that you guys can see my email address. The slide with my email address on it. Okay, I think I left the slide out. So let's just go directly to the first slide that says chapter 11, unit 1, which is the first slide, the one that says chapter 11, unit 1. That slide that says chapter 11, unit 1, which is what we're doing today, psychological, social, and religious factors, cultural practices, and different knowledge perspectives. So the lesson objectives for today are that you know the different psychological, social, and religious factors, cultural practices, and the different knowledge perspectives. All right. So the human factors. So the things that we just listed above, the psychological, social, religious factors, cultural practices, and different knowledge perspectives, these are different human factors. And these human factors are the ones that contribute, that cause illnesses or can affect us positively. So the human factors that contribute to our illnesses are psychological ones, meaning the mental things, that things that causes us to be unhealthy or in a bad state mentally. And then there are things that happen to us socially, that may happen in our social lives, our families, in our relationships and our friendships. These are things that can happen to us, that can impact us, and negatively and impact our uh impact us. All right, let me see. All right, that you can see. All right, so now we're on the slide that says that says let's start psychological, social, and religious factors, which is the third slide. So we're on the third slide, which says psychological. It says let's start. All right. So yes, and then religious factors too. So religious factors too, meaning our different religions, can also either affect us positively or affect us negatively and cause ill health. And then cultural practices. So these are our traditions, the things that we practice, our rituals and our cultures. And then the different knowledge perspectives, and this is the knowledge that we all know, our philosophies and our theologies, the things that we live by, and then the things that we, all right, let me check. Yes, well, you can speak to me. I've unmuted you. Well,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear
Can you hear me?
you. Yes.
Um, well, I can only see in the first slide showing welcome to today's life orientation lesson.
All right,
I
we're
can't see.
going to try and the slides are not moving. Okay, we're going to try and move the slides now. All right, we're going to try to move the slides. Thank you, Will. All right. So can we please try and move the slides? I'm not moving. We're on the third slide. The next one, the third slide, the one after this one.
Yeah.
Yes, the one that says let's start.
Okay.
So the third one. Can you see that the slide has changed?
Yeah, I can see the first.
All right, yes, this is the slide that was.
I can see it, ma'am. Ma'am.
When going live on YouTube, do you still have to go and configure on the meeting first? Prearrange.
No, yeah, I think all meetings they do go live.
Huh?
I think they do go live. I'm not sure.
When I went live, I started hearing some other class that I wasn't doing.
Okay, I am back. I'm doing the lesson.
So
I
choose
just
to
got
record.
unconnected. So let me just mute everyone so that I can continue speaking. Okay, that is it. So, all right. So these terms, cultural practices and different knowledge perspectives, these terms with examples to show they can cause ill health are explained in this section. So let's move on to the next slide, which is the one that says psychological factors that cause ill health. Psychological, which is the fourth slide. Let's move on to the fourth slide. So psychological factors that cause ill health. Psychological factors are mental and emotional aspects of being a human being. The mind and body interact closely. Sometimes psychological factors can cause sometimes psychological factors can cause illnesses, and sometimes illnesses can cause psychological effects. So, psychosomatic illness means a sickness that involves both the mind and the body. This illness may start with emotional stress but can become physical. Your stress can cause an ulcer or smoke. So, let's start. All right. We're on the fourth slide. Let's move with the slides. Oh, yes, there we go. So, psychological factors that cause ill health. So, basically, here we're looking at how your mental health or your mental health can cause ill health to your physical body. So, you find that let's just define stress and say we do have obstacles and challenges that we face every day. But now, when we can't resolve them and it's one problem on top of the other, and we aren't able to manage them, then they become stress. So our bodies can react to stress, but then once it's too much and we aren't able to resolve our stress, then it does become an illness or a problem. So basically, a mental factor like stress can cause us to be ill. So we can be less energetic, we can maybe be heavy and not be able to get out of bed. So they are, okay, I think yes, we are all on the right slide now. So yes, your mind and body also interact closely. So sometimes psychological factors can cause illnesses, and sometimes illnesses can cause psychological effects. So it does also happen that when you're sick, like people who are too sick in hospital, then you find them now that their mind gets affected. So there are diseases that do cause people to have mental wellness issues. And then there is like an example of psychosomatic illness, which means a sickness that involves both the mind and the body. So this illness may start with emotional stress, but can become physical. So there are different kinds of illnesses, others too that do become physical that just starts with maybe the emotions or the mind. So, and then your stress can also cause and all right, so let me see. I don't know now. I can't see this. Okay, I can't see the size anymore. But moving on to the next slide, which focuses on the social factors. So the social factors that cause ill health is closely linked to social factors, which are issues that involve people, the community, and the public, how people behave towards each other, and social conditions. So these are all your social things. These are problems that can be like in your family. Let's say unemployment is a social factor. So what can happen is that your father or your mother can get unemployed, and then you can have like no food, no money for nutrition and food in your family, and then you can maybe not have enough clothes. So it can also affect you at school because you now don't have enough food to eat when you're at school, or you don't have the correct school uniform, and that may cause different things like your peers might not look at you the same anymore, or you might not be able to fit in because you don't have proper school shoes, or you don't also go to the tuck shop and have lots of money to spend there, maybe all you have is just bread with no butter, or maybe just bread with butter. You don't have a fancy sandwich, and you might find that you have a fallout with your friends because now you don't fit in as part of the groups anymore. So those things might affect you psychologically, that you don't fit in anymore. You feel like the odd one out, and you always used to have these a squad around you and people that you know who are constantly around you. And then again, a fallout maybe in the community. If your community is a community that does not have basic services or access to basic services, let's say you live in a shanty town or a squatter camp and you don't have running water and you don't have electricity. And then basically what happens is that now you don't have what other people have. So people look down upon you and say, oh, she's from a squatter camp or they from a squatter camp. Then that causes a depression that is caused by class or status, that you don't find yourself in the right class or in the class that you want. I mean, even when you're in a community that does well, but you're still not able to afford to pay for your electricity. If your electricity is prepaid, everybody else has electricity, but you find that you run out at home, you don't have enough electricity. And then basically another thing that can happen is that as a community, maybe you won't fit in with your friends to play around after school because you don't have a skateboard like they do, or rollerblades. So you are also socially cast into a different place. Maybe you're part of the squad that don't really have the fancy phones. So this might affect you mentally, and you might just be like, I'm not like the I'm not cool like other kids. And the thing is that you shouldn't allow it to maybe disturb you or disrupt you, because we all not the same, but we're all going in a certain direction. So it might not be okay right now, but things will be okay later on. You keep on working, you're a learner. So if you
And
keep on studying and keep on doing your work, yes,
ma'am, on my screen it's not showing the topics that you're talking about.
the slides, okay. Um, all right, I'll see if the slides can come back. I can also see that I can't see the slides anymore too. I'm not controlling my slides today, so I am so sorry. I'm not controlling my slides today, so I'll see if they can come back. But for now, because the slides are not there, I'm just gonna ask you to just try to listen to me a bit until the slides come back. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. There we go. All right. Here are the slides. So we're on the slides that say social factors. So which is the one, two, three, four, the fifth slide. So we're on the fifth slide. That's yes. This is the slide that we're on. Thank you very much for the slides. So social factors that cause ill health is closely linked to social factors, which are issues that involve people, the community, and the public. How people behave towards each other and the social conditions they live in can affect their health. So that is what we were busy speaking about, how you live in your community. Maybe you're a poor family, and everyone in the community can see that you are not as fortunate as they are, because maybe you don't wear the same clothes, and maybe you and your friends don't eat the same food. When children speak, they always say, this is what we had, and this is what we had, and you find that you don't really uh, fit in with what everybody else is saying. Or maybe let me just make it more relevant, maybe, and say maybe after the June holidays, your friends might say, "Oh, we were in Durban," because in KZN, Durban, it is a bit warmer during June, so everybody's down there for Durban July, and all your friends are like, "Oh, we were in Durban for our June holidays," and then you find that you were still stuck in the bar like me. So basically, what happens is you find that every time your peers say we were in Cape Town, we were in Durban, we were in PE, you took a short left to Mpumalanga, you're the one who's always left behind. You've never gone anywhere. You've only been to your grandmother's house, which is 30 minutes away, or your uncle's house, or your distant cousin's house. You never go out to the sea or to go hiking, because you just can't afford to go on holiday. So that may make you feel a bit mentally stressed, because you feel like as a child you're not getting what other children are getting. So that is something that is social. And then in terms of family, I did say maybe your parents get unemployed, and then you find that you are the only learner who does not have money to buy at the tuck shop, or you don't have the latest um, form or the latest pair of shoes, or the techies that are in, maybe your soccer boots are not new, and everybody's soccer boots for this season is brand new and shining. So what happens is that you feel offish. And then the second bullet point, violence can lead to injury and stress. So gender based violence, especially violence against women, causes a great deal of ill health. So you do know that we've been having problems with GBV, gender-based violence in South Africa, with a lot of women uh, having been violated and a lot of children being violated too. So what happens is that with gender-based violence, we find that women are usually stuck in relationships that they cannot go out of. Some of them because they are economically dependent on their partners, and others because they are emotionally attached, and others because they are just being threatened. They cannot really move out of the dangerous situation because someone has promised them that they are going to that they are going to kill them, or just threaten them and said you cannot survive without me. So those are things that gender-based violence is, and then they can lead to injury. People have been battered to death, and people have been left with lifelong injuries, being left disabled. Some people don't have eyes anymore because they have been battered or bruised so much that they lost sight. Some don't have teeth anymore. So things that people can't change. So it does lead to injury and it does lead to death. That's why we have so many awareness campaigns. Let me do you still have something to say, Will? Because your hand is up. Let me hear what you have to say. Do you still
For
have,
the
yes?
social factors, poverty can be the
Mm-hmm.
cause of ill health.
Yes, definitely. Poverty can be the source of ill health physically too, because if you don't get the right nutrition, then you are then malnutritioned, or if you don't get enough food to eat, then people do starve to death. There are people who still starve to death in South Africa. So also there are children that are taken to hospitals, and then they are still found to be malnutritioned, and we do have homes that do take care of people who are malnutritioned. So poverty does cause ill health, and then yeah, it does also affect us mentally, because you know what, people are also judgmental when you are poor. Some may think that you're lazy, and then maybe just tired of the narrative that you are lazy and you don't want to work. So it can apply some pressure on you. So yes, and violence. I just spoke about violence. So then we can move on to the next slide. Let me see. Which is on arranged marriages. Sometimes we're on the one, two, three. It's arranged marriages. So the religious factors that cause ill health. So arranged marriages. Sometimes girls as young as 11 are married off fourth or fifth wives to men who are old enough to be their grandmothers. So the harmful effects include physically too. Some of them fall pregnant and they're too young to have babies. So you might find that um, some of them do pass away when they're giving birth. Some of them are infected with viruses because they aren't able to protect themselves. They married off to men who are already like sick and already infected, so they have diseases passed on to them. And because you're only 11 or 12, you aren't able to stop someone from violating you. So also it does have a mental effect on you because you're just a child and you should be school going, you should be going to school, but instead now you're someone's life, you're cooking, you're washing, instead of just playing and doing your homework, and then going out to be with your friends. So psychological effects and physical effects are there. So yes, and then we can move on to the next slide that is on nutritional harm. The next slide is on nutritional harm. All right. In some cultures, there are nutritional taboos, which means some foods may not be eaten. The taboos are usually set for pregnant mothers. This has a harmful effect on pregnant mothers and their babies because they are not getting all the nutrients, especially protein and iron, that they may need. They are therefore more vulnerable to infections and illnesses. So these are the sort of cultures that we have, and this one is an example of pregnant women. I also saw a documentary on other women in Africa. I know that there are also other women here in South Africa who do that. Even people who aren't pregnant, eating stones, eating rocks from the ground. So they said to pray for rocks. But then in the documentary that I saw, it was the eating of the rocks was more centered around like if you don't eat the stones that you find, that it's a certain type of stone that you find, then it means bad luck. Maybe your child won't be born healthy. Your child is going to be born disabled. So now you have to eat this rock, and basically all the women they are buying these rocks from the marketplace. They're actually people who are selling these rocks. I have also seen them being sold downtown when I've been walking, and I do know people who eat them, and I don't know how nutritious rocks are. All I know is that they're not food, so they're not meant to be eaten. So they are harmful, obviously, because there is no nutrition to be found in them. So these are some nutritional harm uh, with regards to our body. And then let us move to the slide that says different knowledge perspectives. Different knowledge perspectives. Knowledge perspective is the viewpoint or outlook you have on something. So we're on the slide that says different knowledge perspective, which is slide 8. Let's move to slide 8. Slide 8, which is on different knowledge perspectives. All right. A knowledge perspective is a viewpoint or outlook you have on something. For example, understanding and knowing about. One person may say that it is healthy to fast and not eat for 3 days, while another will say that it is harmful. So one person may say that it is healthy to fast or not eat for 3 days, while another can say that it is harmful. So these are different knowledge perspectives. So some people find that fasting helps them to detox, helps them to get away from the troubles of this earth and maybe usher in a new form of peace. They feel more peaceful. They feel that they have avoided lots of things, like maybe you don't eat food, so you're cleansing your body of all the bad food that you've been eating. Or maybe you asking for a blessing, you want to feel more connected to God. So, and then other people feel that there's no way you cannot eat for 3 days, that is unhealthy. So those are differing perspectives, and there are other different perspectives that people can have. So there are people who can say eating meat is bad for you, so don't eat meat. And then there are people who say no, but meat is bad for you. I'm a vegan. I don't even eat meat and meat products. because how can you eat another animal? Like that's bad for you. We're only just made to eat fruits and vegetables. Then you can get your protein from nuts. So yeah, that can also be a different perspective. And then on slide nine, a person may say that eating meat is healthy, or this is just the example that I just made, whilst other people do not eat as they are animal lovers, say it is unhealthy or do not like the taste of. Sometimes may think that bottled water is healthier than tap water, but another may say that tap water is healthier than bottled water, but another may say that tap water is healthier than bottled water. So it is about different beliefs. Other people will take water from the tap, but then they'll boil it and then they'll let it cool down, then pour it into a jug and then put it into the fridge. So it would be a process for someone to say, instead of just doing all that admin, I'll just go buy water by the local supermarket. So it does happen that people have different perspectives and different knowledge beliefs. So it just makes us human. But sometimes it just maybe the knowledge system can even depend on how true it is, can depend on where you come from. For instance, we do know that in some areas the water is not cleaner than in other areas. So you can find that in one municipality the water is clean and then in the next the water is not clean. So maybe we can't just say all water that's coming out of a tap is safe to drink. There are some people who get water, open the tap and then there's brown or red water coming out. So those people would have a point that I would have to go buy bottled water so that I may stay healthy. So another person might say my water's clean and I don't have to go buy bottled water. And then someone might just say, I just put the chlorine, I pour my water, and then I cool it down, and then I can eat. So then I can drink. So those are the different perspectives. And then so let us move on to the next slide, which has our activities. So it was quite a short lesson. I'm so sorry about the disruptions and that I couldn't like teach properly and spend a lot of time on the work today. But we're on slide 10. We're on slide 10. And slide 10 has the activity. So the psychological, religious, cultural practices and knowledge perspectives that we just spoke about are all human factors. So those are all the things that combine together and make us who we are. They make us human, psychological, which has to do with our mind, religious, spirituality, what do we believe, and then cultural, the practices, norms, values, our traditions. Those are more from indigenous people, and then different knowledge perspectives are things that we know are everyday things, how to do things, how not to do things, what we believe concerning even maybe education, formal school, and then maybe your child learning from home or your child going to a public school or a private school. So there will be differences in those opinions. One person might feel that my child can never go to a school where they meet with people. They have to be homeschooled because maybe I don't believe in mainstream education. So there are different knowledge systems, and these are all the things that combine and they make us the humans that we are. So in the activity, it's just to see how much you know. So you're just going to name the different psychological, religious, cultural practices, and knowledge and different knowledge perspectives, which are the human factors. So you're going to name the different psychological, religious factors, cultural practices, and different knowledge perspectives. And these are the ones that you know. Any we might not have discussed them in class, so you don't necessarily have to give me the ones that we did in class. I'm sure you know your other psychological factors, your other religious factors, and your other cultural practices and different knowledge perspectives. What would be your example of your knowledge perspective that you would give? Like I just made an example with education that someone might say, my child won't go to a mainstream school, so I'd rather homeschool them. And this is my perspective that I don't agree with the system. I rather want my child to learn my values and my norms and learn at the pace that I feel my child is comfortable with. And maybe for the social, for being social and socially active, they can meet with the other kids in the park or our local sports club or at church or wherever. So basically, that would be it. And then thank you very much for your patience. So we started late. See you on Monday, which is on slide 11. Oh, Monday is we we have holiday. We have holidays, so we're going to see, I think, on the 16th. So please, for more information, contact Africa Team Geeks, and please sign up for your newsletter, and then that's where you're gonna get all the information about when classes resuming, and also the links for the classes. We know that they do change sometimes, so that is where you can get your links at. And then at Africa Team Gigs on all social media platforms, that's also where you can get the rest of your information from. So goodbye and thank you for being in class. Thank you, Will, for joining me in class, and to everyone who's joining me on the stream on YouTube and on Facebook. So thank you to everyone else who has joined me on other platforms and people who will see the lesson later. Thank you for joining me and see you when we reopen. Thank you.
Thank you for the lesson, man.
Goodbye. Thank you, Will. Pleasure. Pleasure.